it's important that we know that, you know, wealth is in the mind. And let me start with that. Wealth is in the mind. And so it is not very strange when you see people pray to become rich, people pray to become anything, but it is not this prayer that we offer that is as important as how we act. How we act is more important to the prayers, our wishes, and so on and so forth. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's why I want to start. Most time when you look at the number of people that are on the when we look at the number of people that are on this meeting, you might feel like just 20 people, just 30 people, but it's not as important, because what is more important is that there are some people who have made up their minds to begin the journey. And since you are one of them, I congratulate you and I welcome you to the community of the wealthy. Don't forget that in the next 5 to 10 years, wealth is going to be redefined. And that is why today I'll be redefining some things to us. I will be redefining some terminologies that before now we're very familiar with, but today it's changing. For example, we are going to be redefining vision, and we are going to be redefining inheritance. We are going to be redefining vision. We are going to be redefining inheritance. I know I started the redefinition of vision last week, but we are going to go further in that definition, and we're also going to define or redefine inheritance. So it's important that we take note of these things, so that, because we might keep in our mind the old definitions and we act in the old systems. But it's important that as we move on, we get these redefinitions into the core place of our mind, so that when these things begins to manifest, then we know that, yes, this is what we already knew. This is what we already prepared for. You must be prepared for the new definitions. Don't forget, and if you will recall what we used to define, we used to say vision is the picture of our future. Am I right? Vision, we always say, is the picture of our future. But ladies and gentlemen, vision, we are going to be redefining it based on our targets. Our target, which, if you remember, is to enter into the class of the wealthy. And so if you have to enter into the class of the wealthy, you need to begin to see how vision is defined by the wealthy and how inheritance is defined by the wealthy, so that you now begin to tell yourself to begin to see these things from that perspective. Ladies and gentlemen, permit me, like we started, to redefine vision. Vision is who you are now by the reason of what you see. Vision is who you are now, today. Who you are today by the reason of what you see. Don't forget that we are going to be putting this definition side by side. Vision used to be the picture of your future. But when you look at vision in reality, vision, that is a definition of a dream. And that is why many times we are confusing the meaning of vision. We are confusing vision and dream. Joseph had a vision. What Joseph had was a dream, not a vision. But it became a vision the moment he began to see himself in it from today that he saw the vision. So until a vision becomes what you are today, it is a dream. Until a vision becomes what you are today, it's a dream. I'm trying to share my screen so that we can see one or two things. Vision is who you are now by the reason of what you see. Can you see my screen share? If you can see, just drop a 2 for me in the chat box. If you can see my screen, the slide I'm sharing, please drop a 2 for me in the chat box that you are seeing the screen. I'm showing you the definition of vision. Vision is who you are now by the reason of what you see. What you see is a dream. What you see or what you saw was a dream. Now, acting your dream today is vision. I said to some of my church members many years ago, ministers, I was teaching a group of ministers, and I said to them, I said, if you ever see yourself maybe on the pulpit at the redemption camp of the Redeemed Church of God, ministering on the same pulpit with maybe the general overseer, but your action now is lackadaisical. Your action is non-consistency in service of God. I say the devil is just telling you that I'm about to disgrace you. Do you get that? The devil is showing you how massively he wants to disgrace you because you are seeing yourself ministering on a pulpit that is bigger than how your thinking is now. And that's why it's important that for your vision, for a dream to become a vision, you must act it now. You can type it for me in the chat box. For a dream to become a vision, you must act that dream now. And that is why vision in this generation is being redefined as who you are now by the reason of what you see. Please keep that at the one very good reservoir in your mind. Vision is who you are now by the reason of what you see. What you see is a dream. Until you act it, it remains in the dreamland. What you see, please keep admitting, and please don't let me see anyone waiting to be admitted. Vision is what you see now, what you are, what you have made yourself to become now by the reason of what you see. And I say that anything you see today that you call vision that does not affect your reality is not a vision, it's a dream. So you just tell yourself, wake up, guy. You see yourself on the platform singing with let me see, or singing with TD Jakes in Potter's house in America. You see yourself ministering with TD Jakes, singing, and you cannot rehearse as a choir minister. You cannot rehearse for 2 hours in a day. What the devil is showing you is that I want to disgrace you. Because number one, it's an illusion. It will never come to reality, and it's a sign of a disgrace waiting. So it's better not to have a big dream than see a big dream and not act it. It is better not to see a big dream than to see a big dream and not act it. You can type it for me. It is better not to dream. If Joseph had dreamt the massiveness of Joseph's dream, but yet the moment he saw an offer from Potiphar, he grabbed it and said, this is money, man, money, money, money. And he grabbed it and said, I will never be poor again as soon as I have this woman to myself. Joseph would have ended disgraced. Maybe Potiphar would have caught them in the act, if not on the first time, but at different other times, and then it would have ended up as a disgrace. So it's better not to have a dream than to have a dream that you are not acting. It is better not to have a dream than to have a dream that you are not acting. And that's what has kept a lot of people from being successful. They have seen themselves in a massive place. They have seen themselves in a wealthy place. They have seen themselves in some very big circumstances and situations, but they are not ready to act it. And that's the reason this kind of program will be running, and we have less than 500 people here. But thank God you are one of the few that are here. So don't forget, if you continue to see vision as what you are in the future, then you will continue to wait for the future to enter into it. So vision is never the picture of your future. That is a dream. Take that away from your mindset. The wealthy do not see vision as a picture of their future. They see vision as what they act today, who they are today, who they are now, by the reason of what they see. So what you must also understand is that when you see a dream and you act it, that means you are acting today based on what you see, and as you act it today, it produces that which you see. Did you get it now? That which you see in the future will be produced by your action of today. So if you see yourself becoming a millionaire today and you see it in a dream, and you are not positioning yourself today to begin to think about the investment mentality of the wealthy, to begin to see the saving culture of the wealthy, to begin to see the risk, the credit profiling of the wealthy. Next week, let me remember to mention it, that next week we'll be looking at how to strategically position your credit rating. Please note it somewhere. That is what we had wanted to talk about it last week. This week, I'm still thinking about talking about it, but I want to make a commitment to talk about how to improve your credit ratings. That will be next week. And because all of this is what makes the wealthy to become wealthy. If your credit rating is poor, if you look at advanced countries, they have credit rating from 0 to 10. So every citizen have a credit rating. Please, anybody that's unmuted his mic, please mute it for me.
That's the mic, the wall.
Unmuted his mic. Who is on this call that is unmuting his mic? I'm muted. Are you hearing me? Are you hearing me now? If you are hearing me, do give me a 3 in the chat box. If you are hearing me, give me a 3 in the chat box. What was the last thing I said? What was the last thing I said? The last thing you had me said, please type it in the chat box. What was the last thing you had me said before my mic was muted? Please help me. I didn't notice that my mic was muted. What was the last thing you had me said? So let me just start from where I think I was saying that next week I'm making a commitment to talk about the credit rating. It is one of the things that makes the wealthy to be wealthy. Credit rating in most advanced countries move from 0 to 10. And most time, if your credit rating is poor, you will be poor. If your credit rating is high, you will be wealthy. If you cannot look for 10 million and get it in one day, then you will still be in the category of the poor. Let me just put it like that. But let's move that. We will look at some of the things around Dangote so that we can have practical examples of the wealthy and some things. But let's go on. And that is the reason, so that you can have all these redefinitions in your mind. That's why you need a mentor. You need someone that believes in you, and he wants, who will also in turn make you arrive at a desired future. And then one of the things that we need also, that is to know that the job of a mentor, that's what we are doing here, is to stand in between what you can see in yourself and what they see in you. So because sometimes we are not even seeing something very spectacular about ourselves, the mentor takes what you see in yourself, take what they see in you and say, you can become what I'm seeing, you know, and they help you to process it. Mentors will give you platform, opportunity to see platform by which you can achieve what you are not qualified to ordinarily. Let me tell you, today, you must understand that you need to develop a big mind. You need to develop a big mind. You need to develop a mindset that is big. You need to develop a mindset. No, you should be hearing me. You need to develop a mindset that is big. What did I say? Type it in the chat box. You need to develop a mindset that is big. Develop a mindset that is big. Please, I need activity in the chat room. You need to develop a mindset that is big. Let me tell you, there are no big people in town. There are no big men. There are no big environment. There are no rich environment. There are no rich people. There are no big people. What exists are people that have big minds. Big mind is what makes the wealthy to become big, to become wealthy. So everything you do always takes the shape of your mind. Now, take note of that. Everything you do in life always takes the shape of your mind. If your mind is big, you will have massive results. If your mind is small, you will have small results. Everything you achieve in life, everything you do in life takes the shape of your mind. That is why a trailer can accept a luggage as big as 10 tons of cement, while a car or a marwa, or what do they call it, a tricycle, can only take maybe 5-10 bags of cement. Why? Is the size of the capacity of the size of a thing determines what it can carry. Everything you do in life always takes the shape of your mind. So look at your achievements so far. Look at what you see yourself becoming. Look at the targets you have set for yourself. Targets are set based on the shape of your mind. So if you look at yourself and say, before the end of this year, I want to buy a land in Maitama and have a house there. That's the shape of your mind. That means that you are also not dreaming, but you are going to begin to act. Don't forget the definition of vision. You are going to begin to act today like someone who wants to have a land in Maitama and build a house in Maitama. And let me tell you, for example, if you have a plan to own a house in Maitama and your target date is December 31st, means it looks like your mind is big, but to know that your mind is really big, we need to know how you want to, your plan to achieving that. If your plan to achieving that is to buy a land and build it, you know that your mind is looking big, but it's actually small. Because you know that completing a house from scratch to finish will not happen in 2 months. So it is not just about thinking big. You can think big, but the shape of your mind also will reflect in the arrangement that you have for yourself. So you cannot say, I want to buy a house, I want to have a house in Maitama, and they say, what are you targeting to have in 1 year? and you say, in 1 year, I can be able to gross like 30,000 naira. So you are only saying with your mouth that you are big, the shape of your mind had not been reconstructed. So there are times when you need to reconstruct the shape of your mind through mechanisms as what we have attending this financial mentoring every Saturday. You are reshaping your mind. You are resizing your mind. You are not just dreaming. You are not just seeing a house. You are also reshaping your mind to be able to have in your mind everything that will produce that house. Thank you. Targets are set based on the shape of your mind. Targets are set based on the shape of your mind. That's why sometimes when I see people, I remember some years ago when we drew a plan to build a church, and somebody took the picture, had the 3D image of the church, and took it to the office and was excited, was telling somebody, this is what we plan. The person looked at the young man, and the boss looked at him and said, your pastor is a joker. He said, no, he didn't say joker. He said, your pastor is a dreamer. And we set a target to pull down the house we set the target to pull down the house on February 11th of a year and return back to the house by May 26th of the year. But the person said, your pastor is a dreamer. Yes, it's a dreamer that is acting the dream. So it's a visionaire. Do you get it now? A dreamer that acts his dream is a visionaire. That is why the dream that you act is a vision. Are you getting my definition now? Because we are in a process of reshaping our minds. For everyone that comes on this call, you must understand that your mind must be reshaped. You need to redesign your mind. You don't just have to dream big. Many people have dreamt big for years and they have never been able to enter into the dream. So what do? You dream big, you act the dream, and then it becomes a vision. So a dreamer that is acting his dream is a visionaire. Shola, thank you very, very much. A dreamer acting his dream is a visionaire. A dreamer will remain a dreamer until he acts his dream. A dreamer remains a dreamer until he acts a dream. In the process of acting your dream, your mind will be reshaped. In the process of acting your dream, your mind will be reshaped. And these are some of the things that have never happened to us that makes us to remain where we have always been. That is what had not happened. Dreaming, some people are not dreaming at all. Some people are dreaming but not acting. I told some people some years ago that many times the actions that we see about people that are confessing positive things or confessing big things does not reconcile with what they are confessing. So that means that what they are confessing is just in their imagination. But until you begin to act it, then you discover that the shape of your mind will begin to change. The shape of your thinking will begin to change. Then your action will change everything. And before you know it, you have entered into the dream that you saw. So your dream is a dream until you act it. Then the moment you act your dream, you become a visionaire. Then your dream becomes a dream. The dream that you act is what becomes a vision. So it's important, thank you. It's important that we begin in the process of reshaping our mind to begin to act the dream that we see of ourselves. Don't sit down and say, I see myself as a big man. Some people even tell you, today's social media is very interesting. I saw a chicken trying to challenge a lion, and somebody is now said, only God knows what the motivational speaker have told this chicken. Are you getting it? Only God knows what a motivational speaker have told this chicken. A chicken going to fight the lion. Now, what do I expect from a chicken that will see himself defeating a lion? It's a chicken that wants to first grow itself in size so that his size probably will match or scare the lion, and probably knows that For the lion to be afraid of you, he must see something. Maybe if a lion sees, I don't know, maybe if a lion sees an elephant, he runs. Then you begin to form your face in a structure that produce a face of an elephant that the lion fears. Then you can now approach the lion. But if you approach the lion with the face of a chicken and the size of a chicken, you are sure to end in the belly of the lion. You are definitely sure to end in the belly of the lion. So it is not just enough to be a dreamer. Many times the things that we want for our lives or that we see in our lives are mere dreams. You need to act them, become a visionary, act your dream, and as you act your dream, the shape of your mind will begin to change. The shape of your mind. You know, sometimes we pray not to lose some opportunities, for example, some jobs. And a pastor shared a story of a young man who came and he told him and said, I want to sponsor your annual event. Please pray for me that God will bless me. Your annual event, I will sponsor it. The man prayed for him. The pastor prayed for the young man and he left. And the next day, the man returned and was crying. What's the problem? I just prayed for years. They said, yes. I got to the office today and I was sacked. And the pastor laughed and said, yes, you have to lose that job because if your mindset is to sponsor my next annual program, do you know how much we spend on that program? We spend in excess of 10 billion naira. And you have a job that you are earning about 100,000 naira. How would that have happened if you don't lose this job? So he geared up and said, yes, so I think it's something towards where I'm going. That was the moment he began to dream big. He just saw a dream. It was big, but he was a dreamer. But the moment he caught the revelation that that job will never take me to that point where I will sponsor this program, and so losing it is not really a challenge for me, it's actually working towards the dream that I saw. He began to act it. And by that action, he got several other jobs, he got several other offers, multiples in what he used to have. And by the time he was coming at the end of the year, he was coming with a check that could almost sponsor that event. So you can see the difference between dreaming and visioning. When you dream, and sometimes as we dream big, it will alter so many things in our life. It will make us lose some things. It will make us lose some friends. It will make us lose some opportunities because those opportunities are too small and they are distractions to where we are going. They are distractions to where we are going. So when those things begin to fall off your hands, just tell yourself, yes, I know it is something that is happening along my dream. So dream big. Now I say, put your mind on your mind. Put your mind on your mind. All of these things, let's take note of them. We said you must dream big. We redefined vision. Don't forget, we redefined vision. And we told us that vision needed to be supported with a mentor. And from there, we told us what the mentor will help us do, moving us from how we see ourselves, how they see us, and where we are going. And then we also talked about dreaming big. And we looked at dreams, we look at action in between dreams and action, and vision is action. And we said that the process of acting your dream, we should reshape your mind. And as your mind is reshaped, then the vision is targeted to being accomplished. Then I said, develop a big mind. Put your mind on your mind. Put your mind on your mind. Put your mind on your mind. Develop a big mind by putting your mind on your mind. What do I mean by putting your mind on your mind? Always be inspired by the power you have inside of you to think beyond your circumstances. You know, many times we are tempted to think that our circumstances are a limitation to us. Meanwhile, most often than not, our circumstances were allowed so that we can get into where we are going. Ola Ojo Olufemi, please, I don't know who invited you here, please communicate with the person that invited you here and will make your whatever your request is available to you. Put your mind on your mind. What do I mean? We have talked about developing a big mind. So you need to give consciousness to your mind. You need to give attention to your mind. You need to constantly watch what goes through your mind. You need to constantly think about what are you thinking. Think what you are thinking and think it through and see whether it can take you to where you are going. For example, when you lose an opportunity, what comes to your mind? When you lose an opportunity, what comes to your mind? Now, that is putting attention to your mind, putting your mind on your mind. Everything that processes through your mind, give it attention and tell yourself, no, this is not supposed to find its way into my mind. Anytime you think that probably you will lose something, put attention to it and say, no, it should not be coming to my mind that I will lose something. You know, I was talking to some people about 3 years ago, it was in December 2017, and I was telling them, I don't know how the voice of the devil sound. I don't know how the voice of the devil sound. I've never heard the devil spoke. And I would just see people come and say, I was just going and the devil was talking to me that I should jump into the road, and the devil was talking to me that I will die tomorrow. I said, I don't know how the voice of the devil sound. I've never heard the devil. And this can happen because you give attention to your mind. The moment little things that like, what if you die? Or I say little things. What if you are unable to buy fuel to your car tomorrow? It's very little. What if they send your child out of school because you can't pay school fees? It's gradually increasing, Abi. Then what if you can't pay your rent? You know, the moment those things come to your mind, it comes little by little. If you don't put attention to it and cut it off and say, no, this kind of thought should not be coming to my mind, then it will grow. If the devil knows, if it's become regular and nothing is done about it, it will grow. That's when you now see yourself in accidents. That's when you now dream and see yourself in this thing. So you need to put attention to your mind. That's what I call put your mind on your mind. Give attention to your mind. Make sure everything that comes to it, especially that tilts towards the negativity, take time to sit on it and say, no, I can't lose my money. How can I lose my money? You know, some time ago, I was involved in an investment and then the money was hooked. And then I was discussing with some of our partners, and then they said to me that, are you still wasting your time? I said, I'm not wasting my time. It's my money is going to come back. It's my money is going to come back. The fact that my money is in it, that money will come out. Do you understand it? The fact that my money is in it, the money will come out. I didn't know anybody. I don't know the power that held the money, but because my money is in it, it's going to come out. So don't even think about it. Like I saw a post, it was like a cartoon of a woman who was talking to the wife, to the husband, and said, you know, they were discussing about money, how to pay some bills. And the man said, what the woman now say, see, what if you lose your job? He said, no, I cannot lose my job. The woman said, no, let's just assume. He said, I cannot assume to lose my job. Do you understand it now? That is, I'm trying to give you examples on how to put your mind on your mind. It's very important. If you must get into the class of the wealthy, you must put your mind on your mind. You must always think and know that things are going to work. You know, that's why when you see an opportunity, how you process it depends on how your mind is shaped and how your mind is formed. That's why I was talking to somebody some days ago, and I was showing the person an opportunity. And he said, he said, see, I'm more comfortable with that one I can get 20%. I said, I said, so tell me about that one. He said, I have a plan. You know, I have a plan that I will put it for 3 months and I will cash out. I said, so why do you put your life and your mind on something? I said, why do you want to cash out? He said, because I don't want to lose my money. I said, you see, why do you put your money into something that you are afraid it even have an issue? Before you got into it, you are afraid. but you want to put it and gain massively and take it out. And most times, before the time you think you are smart to take it out, the smarter people who provided the platform will outsmart you. So I said, why not put your investment into something that you can plan the next 5 years on and say, the wealth that I will make from this, even though it trickles in at 5% per month, even though it trickles in at 7% per month, in the next 5 years, man, I will be so wealthy that I can buy out a refinery. Say, why are you not thinking that way? He said, no, that thing is small, that thing is small. You know, many times we need to reform our mind. And that's why one of the things, as we discussed on Saturday, last week Saturday, that the rich do, that the wealthy do, that the poor don't do, is a commitment for longevity. They have a commitment to wait for 3 years, to wait for 6 years to enter into their wealth. But the poor wants to jump into the well tomorrow. So they are looking for platforms where 10 can become 100, where 100 can become 1 million. That's what they are looking at. Put your mind on your mind. The moment you discover that get rich quick mentality starts coming in more than a strategic growth into wealth, then begin to think yourself that something is getting wrong with my mind. Something is getting wrong with my mind. So put your mind on your mind. Now we're going to talk about creative imagination. Creative imagination. And let me tell you, we all know this quote that imagination rules the world. Imagination rules the world. But I'm going to redefine it. I'm going to change that word to say creative imagination rules the world. What did I say? Creative imagination is what rules the world. Not just imagination. You can imagine anything. It will be a dream. It could just be an imagination. Creative imagination is what rules the world. Creatively thinking things through, processing it through, not just hoping to become anything anyhow. Thinking it through and processing it through, and with a big mindset and a mind that is already thought through, you produce an imagination that rules the world. It's not every imagination that rules the world. It is creative imaginations that rules the world. So you must begin to think creatively. You must begin to think creatively. Whatever you imagine to be true about yourself will determine how you act, feel, and react. Whatever you imagine to be true about yourself will determine how you act, how you feel, and how you react. Some people are living in rejection because they feel they are rejected. They reject themselves. That's why you see somebody will say, I'm not, why are you not always mixing with people? Like somebody, I had a story of a lady who a young man came to approach. And why, that I love you, I want to marry you, the lady will do like this and say, no. The man said, I'm not joking. I mean, I've been looking at you for the last 3 months. I love you. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. She was covering her mouth. And then at the time, the man said, why? Please be free. The young lady said, I don't want to see my set of teeth. That because I have a bad set of teeth. The man said to the lady, said, as a matter of fact, it is the set of teeth that made me fall in love with you. Do you get that? It is that set of teeth that I saw. Maybe the day you were not covering, you were not conscious somebody was watching you. I saw that set of teeth and I love it. Let me tell you, when I was growing up, I used to love this kind of teeth in this corner of the mouth. What do you call that teeth? This is what do you call this teeth in the front? Now, what do you call this teeth in the front? No, now the normal teeth set. You have the molar at the back, you have the premolar, Then you have scissors. I don't know what it is called. I'm trying to ask some of my team here. Now, there is the teeth. After the first 3 sets of teeth, the next set of teeth. I used to love ladies that have it, you know, pointed like lion's teeth, you know. And maybe some people, some ladies think that it's a bad set of teeth, and they begin to avoid, you know, talking because of that. Let me tell you, what you imagine to be true about yourself, if you imagine that you are not beautiful, you will be ugly. If you imagine, no matter how people think you look like, and you carry yourself, that's why, let me tell you, some people don't like very, we don't call it fat women, they call it, what do you call them? Not chubby. The people that are full ground, there's a language where full ground, you know, some people don't like women that occupy space. You understand? And some people, because they are ladies and they occupy space, they begin to, they look at themselves as that they are already rejected. And I've met people in life that love ladies that occupy space. Are you getting it now? So no matter what you look like, no matter how you are, no matter your situation, if you, the way you see yourself, what you think is true about you, if you think you are ugly, then you become ugly. Like some people in that book that says, we saw ourselves as grasshoppers. And so before our opponents, they also saw us as grasshoppers. You understand? So whatever you imagine to be true about yourself is will determine how you act, how you feel, and how you react. That's why people that reject themselves, they are always aggressive. When you see an aggressive man, an aggressive woman, it's because they feel little about themselves. So they feel that the way to fight that is to be aggressive. And that's how you see, and you think I'm short. You think I'm short and you want to cheat me. You know, sometimes you are driving on the road and you see a man with maybe a Volkswagen old series, maybe a Volkswagen Golf that is maybe 1984 model. And jejely, because you are wealthy both in mind and in physical, you are driving a Land Rover Jeep and you overtake them, maybe unconsciously. You see, let me cut that short. When you are driving on the road and you splash water on people, let me tell you, the first reaction you get will tell you how the person feel about himself. The first reaction. That's why you see somebody, you can splash water on somebody and he will take a stone and throw it at your glass. Why? Such people are aggressive because they think that you have oppressed them. Because, and is it not normal in a rainy season, on a bad road, and you know, potholes are here and there? Is it not normal that if a car is coming, if you don't move away, it will likely splash water on you? But so that's why you say, oh, don't worry, don't worry. You see some people, they'll say, don't worry, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, and they wave at you. Why? What is the difference? What these people imagine. This one imagines that you are praising him, that's why you splash water. Another one thinks that it is natural. I'm the one that is walking by the side of water, and then on this kind of road, this will naturally happen. And they say, don't worry, I understand, don't worry, see you. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's important that we have a creative imagination about ourselves. What you imagine to be true will determine how you act, then how you feel, and how you react. Don't forget creative imagination. I intentionally left it here so that we know that something is changing. Creative imagination does what? Rules the world. Creative imagination rules the world. And that also goes to let us know that before you can experience success on the outside, it starts from within. Before you can experience wealth from the outside, it starts from within. If your mind is wealthy, your actions will be geared towards being wealthy. And that's why when you see the wealthy, they set goals for themselves inside. They say, no, my status must change. I must change from having $1 million to $1 billion in 2 years. They set a goal. Their mind is wealthy. Their actions begins to be geared, and then they set a positive goal. And then from there on the outside, you will see the actualization of that goal. So before you experience success on the outside, it starts from within. You have to have a wealthy mindset, a creative mindset, creative imagination. All of this will begin to drive your actions. All of this will begin to drive your actions. And then before you know it, you begin to set goals, goals that ordinarily you will never have thought about. Let me tell you, we have told ourselves, for as many people that are on this call, and we sign up for the practical mentorship. We are setting a goal of 24 months from the date you join the practical mentorship, 24 months for you to enter into wealth. And I said, many people, depending on several things, which will include on what we are going to teach next week, how to build your credit status. Now, depending on all of that, some will achieve their wealth status in 1 year, in 6 months, some in 18 months, but in 24 months, you will know that you have actually gotten into that status of the wealthy. So creative imagination rules the world. Before you experience success on the outside, it starts from within. Your mind has to be wealthy, and then it creates an action that will begin to gear you towards wealth. We are about to rounding up now. Now, what do we need to do to be able to develop creative imagination? Number one, dehypnotize yourself from false beliefs. Dehypnotize yourself from false beliefs. And I'm going to tell you, because there are several people, different levels, different classes that we are on this call today. There are some people that can easily afford maybe some can raise it in 1 hour. There are some people now, if they just need $1,000, they only need to place 1 call, not 2, and they will get $1,000. Now, so there are different people on this call, and you can classify yourself. Now, you need to dehypnotize yourself from false beliefs. You need to dehypnotize yourself from believing that things do not work. You need to dehypnotize yourself from there are some things that we had always grown up with. Like somebody was saying yesterday, in those years when we're growing up, if you hiccup, our parents will come and put a white thread. It must be white, oh, not red. The person saw a white thread on my head, and probably by the time I checked my clothes, the clothes I was wearing, it was somehow white. I knew it was from there that white thread came on my head. And I said, are you hiccuping? You know? Now it's a false belief. We just think that because somebody is hiccuping, or a child or a little child is hiccuping, when we cut a white thread, how many mothers are in the house and you are still doing it? Don't worry. It's not a wrong thing. It's just I'm just giving an instance of how to dehypnotize yourself, our false beliefs. If you are a mother in the house or you are a father and you still put white thread on your baby's head when he's hiccuping, just put it in the chat box. I still do it. Moses, do you do it? Because I know you are a village boy. And so you grew up knowing that if the same way we grew up from the same place, so we do it, but no more. So if you do it, please put it in the chat box. Yes, I still do it. Okay, looks like we have all towns boy here today, all towns people here today. Now they put the white thread on the head of the child, and severally have seen that these children will continue to hiccup until they couldn't hiccup again, meaning that it is not the white thread. that is working. You know, many of us, when nature comes and some things happen to us, we think it's village people. Many of us, when you do not think rationally and you take a decision and it backfires, we think it is the witches that are after us. We need to de-hypnotize ourselves from false belief and rationally think. Begin to think rationally. Begin to think things through. We know that there is the activity of the black world in quotes. We know it exists. If I tell you it doesn't exist, then maybe I'm deceiving you because I know, I understand that realm of operation. However, you must understand that there are some things that happens from the nature. And so always think rationally and take away false beliefs. There are some people that believe that there is a limit they can go in life. And there are some people that believe that at some certain age, there is nothing you can accomplish again in life. So, but that is not rational thinking. For you to be creative in imagination, you must take away false beliefs and think rationally. As we begin to end, I'm going to take it off and I'm going to talk about inheritance redefined. Don't forget, we have redefined vision as who you are now by the reason of what you see. Who you are now by the reason of what you see. Let's look at inheritance. Inheritance today or of yesterday used to be the transfer of properties from a man who probably had passed on, or some even while they are still alive. A man can share inheritance even when he's still alive. But most time inheritances are shared at the point of death, and is the transfer of property. Ladies and gentlemen, in the next 5 years, inheritance is no more going to be transfer of properties. It's going to be transfer of knowledge and the discipline that created them. So you write it down. Inheritance is no more the transfer of properties, but transfer of knowledge and the discipline that created them. And I'm going to explain it because if you stop your definition here, you might think that you are right. You might think you are right. Transfer of knowledge as inheritance. You might think you are right in our generation, but you are not totally right. You will not be totally right by seeing inheritance as the transfer of knowledge, because it does not stop at transferring knowledge. Let me tell you, if you leave this class today, or as you attend every Saturday, there is a transference of knowledge. Many of you, as you are getting them, you are writing them down, you are also taking your time to type it out so that it can stick more. Now, if you stop at that, you have not gotten an inheritance. Inheritance does not just stop at the transfer of knowledge. You must also allow the discipline that created the knowledge to be transferred to you. If you are getting what I'm saying, type a 5 for me in the chat box. If you are getting what I'm saying, give me a 5 in the chat box. Because we are beginning to round up. We are beginning to round up. Please get me the link to the practical mentorship, and because you drop it now. So wherever it is, get the 2 links. Okay, Omawumi is getting it. Ngozi, I want more people because this is where we are going to round up, and I want to get it very clearly. Because some of these things need for you to understand it. It's not just in the theory, it's not just in the slides, it's in the discipline that created it. I want more 5s. Who are the people there? If you're on this call and you are hearing me, Ayopo, Galazi Temple, Moses, Mrs. Aina, Odorume, Sojobi, please, if you are hearing me and you on please give me a 5. Now, inheritance in the next 5 years is going to be the transfer of knowledge and the discipline that created them. Type it in the chat box for me if you are hearing me. Inheritance is the transfer of knowledge and the discipline that created them. Let me tell you, there is a discipline that I have or I had that had created the knowledge that I'm passing on to you. The discipline includes a studious attitude. It includes an open mind to receive knowledge. It includes sometimes staying awake. It includes resetting my priorities. So be telling me the discipline I'm giving you, discipline of resetting my priorities, discipline of a studious life, discipline of a reshaped mind, discipline of staying awake. If this knowledge is transferred to you and you did not get the discipline that created them, you will still not get the inheritance. Thank you. Staying awake, a reshaped mind, a creative imagination, a studious life, an open mind is, all of these are disciplines that created the knowledge I'm giving to you. Now, yes, creative imagination. If you get this knowledge, but do not take the discipline that created the knowledge, you have not been, there is no inheritance transferred. There is no inheritance. So what I'm passing to you in this season is an inheritance. Inheritance no more in this dispensation go to the children. It goes to mentees. Inheritance in this century no more goes to children. It goes no more goes to just the biological children. It goes to mentees. That is why, as a father, as a mother, you must not just have children, you must have them as mentees. I told us last 2 weeks, I heard about somebody also. I am a mentor to people. I am doing this program at transferring a wealth creation knowledge, but I had somebody was doing the same, but he was collecting 100,000 naira to admit people. I carried my son, my firstborn. I said, let's go. I carry his 100,000 naira along with me to go, and so that I am not just transferring inheritance by knowledge. I'm not coming. I want to let him know the discipline. The discipline included that I was sacrificing 100,000 for just about 4 hours. And so I took him along. However, we got to the place and I got a VIP entry because the man I was introduced to him as someone also that also runs a similar program, and I just came to also associate with him. Ladies and gentlemen, so there's a discipline to be willing to pay for to be able to make sacrifice. Sacrifice is a discipline. Many of us, at least I know many of us on this course that could have been doing some things. I know pastors who should be preparing for Sunday service. I know people who should be preparing for an examination. But today we are on this call. It's a discipline. You are making sacrifices because you know there is an inheritance you want to get that you want to also pass on. Many of us today, you can be a pastor and you are preparing for Sunday and you are empty because you do not have the richness. But you need to go somewhere and listen to somebody also where you can also be more loaded. And you have created that discipline. So getting knowledge is not enough. Associating with it, the discipline that created the knowledge. So that is where mentorship is different from just teaching. As I'm mentoring you, I'm not just mentoring you, I am also showing you the discipline that I have that allowed me to have what I have become, what I'm teaching you. So the discipline is even more important than the knowledge. If you have the knowledge without the discipline, you are going nowhere. So as we teach you the mindset of the wealthy, you must also learn the discipline of the wealthy. That is why one of the things that I do for all my practical mentees is the first thing I tell them is that we are going to create artificial scarcity. It's one of the discipline of the wealthy. They create artificial scarcity. They have money to buy cars, but they don't buy the car. They have money to build house, but they say, I'm still going to be a tenant. So when you see a tenant that is a wealthy man, it's not foolish. It's a discipline. Wealthy people postpone their benefits. They delay their gratification. Write it for me. Wealthy people delay gratification. Delay gratification. Type it out for me. Wealthy people delay gratification. So you are here, I want that car. I told you of a man, I met him in that same mentorship class, who was sharing his story about when he met this mentor. The man, he wanted to buy a house, I think maybe in US or somewhere, for $50,000. And the man said, and when he got to meet him, the man said, can you, being under this mentorship, release that $50,000 and wait for 1 year before you buy the house? But at that one house, after 1 year, you will be buying 3 houses instead of 1. The man said, how is that possible? And then he began to show him the parts of the platforms where those monies can be invested and they will have the kind of yield that will make him to buy 1 house. But if he was a man that's poor in his mindset, you say, no, my friends are buying house. They will be laughing at me that, some people buy some cars, not because they need it, but because their friends will laugh at them that they don't have that kind of car that makes them to be in their class. So, but if he's a wealthy man, he will say, no, I'm ready to wait. So this man waited for 12 months, and he had 3 times and more of what he invested, of what he had. So, but now he's saying, I'm not even willing to buy the 3 houses. I still want to invest. Do you get it now? So wealthy people delay gratification. These are some of the discipline that creates wealth. So don't just learn from me. Many times I'll be sharing some of my discipline, the discipline I have created before I can enter into this status. And so you need to not just get the knowledge, oh, so I can do this, so I can do this. No, you also need to understand the discipline that creates it. And so next week, we'll be starting from here and talking about the discipline that creates wealth, the discipline that creates wealth, and I'll be showing you how to improve your credit status. How to improve your credit status. Your credit status will determine how fast you can enter into wealth. Your credit rating status or your credit rating will determine. So how can I improve my credit rating? How can I improve my credit rating? Many people see credit as a problem. No, if your credit rating is high and you are highly credit worthy, then you take advantage of the credit to do all you need to do to easily move into wealth. So this afternoon, like I've said, every Saturday like this, I take you through mentorship, financial mentorship. The program is called Financial Mentorship with Pastor Yemi. He hosts every 2 p.m. on Saturday. However, this is a general platform. If you want to join my practical mentorship, if you want to join my practical mentorship class, the link will be dropped now. Drop the link. The link will be dropped now. But please let me tell you, don't be in a hurry to join that group. The moment you join it, it's difficult to go out. It's cheap, it's free, but it's costly. Like I always say, I'm not going to collect 1 naira from you for being mentored practically by me. It's going to be a day-to-day practical mentorship where I show you opportunities where you can enter into wealth between now and the next 2 years. And then so if you are not, but like I said, you will lose you will lose you will lose your freedom on your finance. The moment you join that practical mentorship group, you lose your control over your finance. I take hold of it, but you can be guaranteed that in the next 24 months, you are getting into the class of the wealthy. So please drop it again. Please drop, I can't see it. Please drop it again, and again. So please don't join if you are not made up your mind, but if you have made up your mind, join that group, and then we'll be discussing. The link has been dropped. Join it. Tomorrow also, for tomorrow program will be holding it by 1. I have another program by 2. So tomorrow program will be holding it by 1. Please, that program is to show you some of the platforms that the wealthy have taken advantage of to enter into wealth. That's what we do on Sunday. It's not the mentorship. The mentorship is all we do. We do not introduce you to any product. We do not show you anything. We just teach you what are the things that the wealthy do that makes them wealthy. And then, because it's important that you begin to see how the wealthy reason, how they think, how they act, before you see opportunity. If you see opportunity with a poverty mindset, you will still remain poor. Ladies and gentlemen, so if you really want to see product-specific opportunities that the wealthy take advantage of to enter into wealth, join me tomorrow. But for tomorrow, it's always 2 p.m. on Sunday too. But for tomorrow, it's going to be 1 p.m. because there's another program that is clashing with it by 2 p.m. That's also very important to me. So 1 p.m. tomorrow, join me on this program where I will show you practically, I'll show you platforms that have taken advantage of, several wealthy people have taken advantage of, platform where people earn like sometimes between $10,000 to $100,000 every week. I'll be showing you tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to join the practical mentorship, like I said, it's free, not charged, but you will lose control over your finance. I take control of it, but I guarantee you that in 2 years, you are entering into the status of the wealthy. You can join the 2 links that is on the screen. There's a WhatsApp link, there's a Telegram link. Please join the 2 if you want to join, but please don't be in a hurry. If you must not join, don't join. See you again tomorrow, or if it's next week, Saturday, you want to join, see you again. Bye, and thank you. If you enjoyed the training today, you can drop a 777 in the chat box. That's how we celebrate ourselves. If you enjoyed the training, you're excited, please drop a 777 in the chat box. We'll see you again tomorrow. 777. Thank you. Thank you, Shola. Thank you, Odorume. Thank you, Moses. Thank you, Regina. Regina, you came very late. I saw when you sneaked into the room. Always make our time for this. Thank you, Ngozi. Thank you, Galazi Temple. See you. And for those of you that wants to join the practical mentorship, I will see you on the group as we join. Bye for now.